the short-term memory of memorizing lines. So I have intense, there's an intensity in the short-term memorization that I have and bringing that to life. And then once I do that, I kind of just purge it and like let it go. And I don't know, I'm sure there's a psychologist in here that could analyze that and tell me why I do that. I don't know why I do that, but I do it. So we'll go to Bo first, and I'm guessing you're talking about the scenes when he's talking about his daughter.
Yeah. Or also when he's interrogating Avery, and you see the change from sort of like from anger and resentment, and it's all that. It's not an emotional scene in the sense that he's crying, but it's really, really intense.
Right. So that all stems from basically I dive into what would I do as a father in this situation, and then how can I relate that to this character. And so I take what I think I know and how I think I would react, and then I put that into this character's hands and kind of just tailor it a little bit, and then that's what you see. So even with Dean, the vast majority of Dean is me. I just tailored it to tell the story through this character's eyes. But I wasn't trained professionally. I didn't go to school for this. I didn't learn methods. I didn't learn how to separate myself from the character. I basically find what relates to me as a person within the story, within the character. I extrapolate on that, and then I apply it to the character. Same thing really with Soldier Boy. In fact, what I was getting to is that scene I thought a little bit about, because I have a good relationship with my father. So I had to dive a little bit into something that I was familiar with that maybe didn't, and that was Dean. So I kind of dived into a little bit of Dean and John relationship, even though Dean loved his father and idolized his father for many, many years, but it was a strained relationship. And and at the end of the day, I just pretended. Because that's essentially what acting is. You try to find the most honest emotion that you can muster up within yourself. You try to identify that. You try to portray that within this character in order to tell the story. And it's, some people can do it, some people can't. It's like, some people can write amazingly. Some people can do math amazingly. Some people can sing. Some people can can paint. I can't paint. I can't draw worth a lick. I mean, I'm lucky to get a stick figure that looks remotely well. But there are some people that just see it and can. And I just, for some reason, can see. You guys seen that movie Good Will Hunting?
Yeah.
When he talks about how he can do math, he's like, Beethoven could just see the piano and he could play. Now, I'm not saying that I'm Beethoven as far as acting goes by any means, but I can play. And so I try to play as much as I possibly can, and that's using what I have in my life, using what I think would be the right emotion, and then I just expand on that.
Yeah, in the end, Ben is just a little boy searching for his father's approval.
100%.
At the end of the day, which is kind of what Dean was as well.
Absolutely. So I was able, and I'm like, am I getting typecasted here? Is this... but no, you're absolutely right. And so there was some correlation there between Dean and Soldier Boy, and that's why I thought it was such a fantastic plot twist when Soldier Boy was like given this opportunity to have a son and a grandson and change that, but then he reverts to his DNA and becomes what he always hated, what his father was. Yeah. So I mean, and that's just great writing. But it's also really fun to take that character on that journey. And then it's just, it's pretending. It's painting with a paintbrush that I know how to paint with.
And you do paint very, very well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Eva, and I love the episode where the trickster puts Dean and Sam in different TV shows. And is there a TV show you would like to be in? For example, I would love to see you in the YouTube talk show Hot Ones, where you get interviewed and eat extremely spicy chicken wings. I hope you know it. I would love to see how far you come.
I have said for several years now, before the show got big.
You know it. You know
when
the
it,
show.
Oh. When Hot Ones was just a YouTube show and like nobody had heard of it and they were having like random people on it, I was like, Jared and I, we were still shooting Supernatural. I was like, oh my gosh, we gotta do this show. And they invited us both to come on the show. And we couldn't work it out with production. But now the show is so popular that like major A-list movie stars are doing it. I don't think they're gonna have us on. But I will say that the guy,
Sean,
yeah, I will say that Sean, so Jeffrey D. Morgan he did an episode during COVID, and so he had to do it, via Zoom. But I was talking to Jeff about it, and I was like, dude, we did Hot Ones. I'm so jealous. He's like, are you serious? You want to do that show? I was like, I would love to do that show. I want to do that show so bad. And he's like, Sean loves Supernatural. Like, he told me, have you guys on? I'm like, really? And then I started watching the show, and I was like, oh, well, like, Charlize Theron's doing it. And, it's now there's just too many big names. Like, who was the latest person? There's, like, huge names that do it now.
Yeah, really huge names. Pedro Pascal, Jill.
All right, enough with Pedro Pascal. Okay. I've had about enough of Pedro Pascal. The guy he's too awesome, and I want to be him. Did you guys watch This Is Us, or The Last of Us? Yeah. This Is Us. Good show, though. Shout out to Sterling and my boy Justin. Yeah, The Last of Us. So that started floating around Hollywood a couple years ago, and I was like, all right, who do I have to kill to get this role? And it became very clear that his name was Pedro Pascal. And because I'm a law-abiding citizen, I did not kill him. And instead I watched The Last of Us on my iPad with hate in my eyes.
Take a selfie.
What?
All the hate.
All the hate?
Take a picture of the hate in your eye.
Oh, did I take a picture? Did I take a selfie of the hate in my eyes? No, but I can show it to you right now. It looked a little something like this. What just happened? I enjoyed his performance and I got mad at myself. That's what happened. That's what that looks like. killing it. Good for you. That's the thing too. Like in this industry, like am I jealous? Yeah. Envious? Sure. But I'm also really happy for him. Like, good for him. Like, he's killing it right now. That's so great. And I think that's a really cool thing about this industry is I think the people that really get it, they aren't upset if they're not getting a role. They're like happy for the person that gets to succeed, because there's always going to be different stories. There's always going to be other roles, but sure, would I love to play that role? Yeah, but I would have done it much differently, and it wouldn't have been what it turned out to be. And I think it turned out to be really great. And so for that, I'll just keep my eyes out for the next one. Thank you. I don't remember where we were, what we were talking about. Hi.
Hi, my name is Naomi, and I'm pretty sure about what you're gonna answer to this question, but what can you tell us about this rumor spreading online that you're on a top 3 list to play Batman?
I don't know. Even if I knew, I wouldn't tell you.
That's why I said that I know the answer, but I wanted to see the reaction.
I mean, could I do it? Sure. Would I want to do it? Yes.
Picture Pascal.
Will I be mad when Pedro Pascal gets it? Yeah. God bless you, Pedro. You just keep killing it, buddy. Let me know when you pass on something. Look, I don't. Right now, nobody's talking about anything. I think it's. Everybody knows that there's a strike going on in the entertainment industry, and until that gets solved, nobody is having conversations about anything. People are having conversations in-house, but those aren't necessarily conversations that are being talked about outside. So, would I entertain the idea of playing my favorite superhero of all time? Nah, I'm good. It seems like a lot of work. Gotta put on a whole that suit. It'd be a superhero.
Oh, you like it?
I love it. Sign me up. And I have a question for you.
Yeah.
If, by some miracle,
Yeah.
when I get to put the cowl on, does the voice need to be radically different?
Well, I mean, Batman is my favorite superhero.
I get you.
So I think.
But like,
not just
Christian Bale, like he went like.
No.
Do you go that extreme, or is it?
No. I honestly believe that either from the voice, but you'd be perfect for it because your voice is the Batman voice.
Okay, but Batman has to be different from Bruce Wayne.
Yes, but not so much. Like, yes, Bruce Wayne is normal voice. and background just a little bit lower, but not too much. I mean, it's not having let's cough every day.
It's not a sore throat.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So it's so Bruce Wayne would be here. Hi, I'm Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, that's
How are you?
Yeah.
And Batman.
Yeah, but if you get the part, because I told you how to do the voice.
I need an on-set like helper, assistant, somebody to like, you know, help me get the cape on.
Where do I sign?
I'll send the papers your way.
Even for free.
Even for free? No, you'll get paid. What is that? What's happening? Spin the wheel? Okay, let me get a question in as I walk over and spin the wheel. What's up?
Hi, I'm Izzy.
Hey.
My favorite episode is Dog Deed Afternoon, and I wanted to know how long it took you to shoot the scene with the bird. You know, the discussion, the bird shit on the collar, and you say, "Hey, come on!"
How long did it take to shoot that scene?
Without laughing a little.
Not long at all, because just about every scene we did was ridiculous like that. But I will say that there were many scenes surrounding the Impala that it got to a point where Jensen was had become Dean in the protection of the car, so much so that like the picture car the person who was responsible for the car when the cameras weren't rolling would get in the car and drive away, and I'd be like, "Take it easy on the clutch, hey, easy on the brakes too. They're a little squishy." Okay, Frank. And I got so protective of the car, and that's when I knew I had to own it. So doing any scene, like us running in and like jumping in the car, and like Jared getting in and banging his boots against the door and hitting his head and just being Jared, he'd also just sit there and just like fart. And in my mind, it wasn't budget. It wasn't him like making my environment uncomfortable. It was him doing that on the seat. It just made me angry. It's like, step out. It's like, I don't, like, lift up. Like, just, you need to aim it my way. I'll get out. Like, I don't, but not on the seat. Come on. She's been through enough. She's so old. She's beautiful, but she's been through enough. Like, let's not flatulate on her. We don't need to do that. You guys know the word flatulate? Is there a word like that in Italian?
Yes.
Like a really fancy.
Yes.
I can count on one finger how many times I've said the word flatulate. Well, I can count on one hand now. I'm gonna spin the wheel. Like it knows me. It was so close to this. And I was like, have faith. And it worked. Hi.
I have a little confession and a question. I saw you the first time in Days of Our Lives, and I'm still watching it, even though sometimes I wonder why.
I think we're all wondering why. Then I have questions for you. But I will wait till you're
I
done.
actually
Okay.
started watching Supernatural because I recognized the Eye of the Tiger takeout on YouTube, and I saw you and I was like, that's the guy from Days of Our Lives.
Hey, that was Eric Brady. 3 Eric Bradys ago. Hasn't that character been like recast? I know one person
He's
came
recast.
back.
In Belgium, we're like 5 years behind in the US, but he's still the same for at least 7 years or so.
Is it still Greg Vaughn?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
old friend of mine actually, who called me up and was like, "Hey man, they've offered me the role of Eric Brady. It would feel weird saying yes to it without talking to you." And I was like, "Greg, knock it out, bro. Go do it." And I was like, "Okay." So Greg's still doing it.
Yeah.
Great, cool.
So my question is, aside from being new in the business at the time, what's the major differences between working on a soap opera set and on series like Supernatural and Boys and stuff?
Outrageously different. So I'm going to get a little business with you guys. So the first major show I did in Hollywood was a show called Mr. Rhodes. Some of you know this. Bear with me. That was a half-hour live-action sitcom. Not live-action, live-audience sitcom. Like Friends, Seinfeld, Big Bang Theory, those shows, right? You got several cameras lined up. You have an audience of 200 to 300 people in front of you, and you perform your scenes, right? So that was my first job, and to date, the best schedule Hollywood has to offer to date. The next best thing, in my opinion, would be daytime soap operas. So, soap operas have 30-some actors. And then they have storylines. They have multiple storylines, right? What would you say? 4 or 5 storylines going on at the same
More or
time?
less, yeah.
Yeah. And each episode spends about 12 to 20 pages of script per storyline. Okay? So if I'm in, let's call them A, B, C, D storylines. If I'm in the B storyline, that B storyline has 18 pages of script. They shoot all of those 18 pages consecutively on that day. It can take, to shoot 18 pages on a soap opera, an hour, maybe 2 hours, because they're shooting an entire hour episode a day. They're shooting 65 to 70 pages a day. So I would go in and do 12 pages of dialogue and be at breakfast, so the cameras start rolling at 9 a.m. every morning. There's a 5, they take 5, you've heard that term, take 5. They take 5 minutes at the top of every hour. Everybody walks off set, takes 5 minutes to, crew goes out, has a smoke, have a Coke, whatever, call your kids, go to the bathroom, whatever you gotta do. Then you come back and you keep working. Then you go to lunch, come back, keep working. You're done by 6 or 7 p.m. And you shot 60, 70 pages of script.
That's a lot.
Supernatural was about 40 to 50 pages of script. And it took us 8 days to shoot. So right there, it's just a whole different animal.
Is it easier if it's in a week?
This is why I think daytime actors and daytime programming in general don't get enough credit. is because they're jamming in all of those, they're jamming in an entire hour-long script in a day. What most people take 8 to 10, the boys, 15 days to shoot one episode. So a whole month. Well, actually more than that, because that's not counting weekends. Like we're talking like 3 weeks. 3 weeks to shoot one episode. So these guys are shooting all of that in one day. So the fact that they're like, oh, it's not great, you know, they messed up the lines or whatever. You know how hard it was to memorize like 20. I did 24 pages of dialogue in one day. And I did that in 5 hours. So that trained me how to be, you know, how to memorize, how to perform, how to hit my mark. I've told the story before. Like when I showed up on set, I was like, "Hey, I'm the new guy. What's up?" And Deidre Hall was like, "Hit your mark, know your lines, stay out of my light." And I go, "Yes, ma'am." And I did that, and earned her respect. And it was one of the best things I could have done because she took care of me big time. And there's more stories about that. But I will say that experience gave me a platform, gave me a foundation to do everything that I've done since.
It was a crash course, basically.
Yes. And you know who I just heard from yesterday? Allison Sweeney.
Oh, really?
I did.
I like your character.
Yeah. And I got on the show, so she played my twin, for those of you who don't know, she played my twin sister on the show. And she'd been on the show for quite a long time before I got on there. And I got hired on to be her twin brother, who was coming back from, had been gone. And so I got back, and now the character's back in the fold. But now I'm on the show, and we go to, I think it was like Minneapolis or someplace. We go to a mall to do an autograph signing. And I'm fresh to the show, and I'm all new. I don't know the protocol. She plays a bad person on the show. She's the evil twin. And
Not always.
Well, not now, but then she was. And these fans start heckling her and start saying bad things to her. And I immediately was like, "Shut your mouth! Shut it up! She is one of the nicest people I've ever met. How dare you say that about her?" "I'm sorry, Allison." She's like, hey, if they hate me, I'm doing my job. And I was like, "Oh, shut up." And it was right then that I knew like how to play that way. And Allison taught me that. And I learned a lot from everybody on that show. Yeah.
Thank you for the answer.
Thank you. I don't know that I answered your question. And guys, I got a Richard Spade.
Yeah. It's time for me to come and interrupt you. And they're like, go on, go up there. I'm like, I don't know what, I think he's telling a serious story.
Well, here's the thing. I was backstage. Well, Jason was telling a really serious story about his son. And I'm like, I'm not going up there.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
Well, that's what, I hear you had your serious Jensen voice. And that's when I saw him. That's a good person right there.
There's a different voice.
Yeah, that's a different voice. The voice is not serious. It's, what are we doing? What? Jensen and I now got into the part, so I'm going to walk in this room like we haven't seen each other. You go over there, and this is how we communicate. And this is literally how, if you were backstage at a convention in any given city or on any set, this is how we react to seeing each other. Here we go. And sing. There he goes. And you know why? I'll tell you why. Before you go, this is the origin story of that is when I started directing Supernatural, I realized that Jensen is a...
When he started directing.
Yes. He is a sitcom and has his own catchphrase. You think he's a serious guy, and he is, to a point, but he's also a walking sitcom with his own catchphrase, because this is how Jensen enters set every swinging day, or not set, by the way, or a hotel room, or a green room. This is what he does. What are we doing? What are we doing? You know that? That we're doing? Alright, let's do it. Everybody do it. We're circling it up. We're going to do it. What are we doing? I don't know what we're doing. What are you doing? Huh? Somebody tell me what we're doing. I can't do it if you don't tell me what I'm doing. Well, what are we doing?
It's such a simple question. And it tells you everything you need to know. Because when you walk into a room and there's people there that have been there before you, you just simply walk up and go, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
What are we doing? What are we doing? Hey, all right, come here. Come here. What are we doing?
That's it. It's a sitcom. It's Kramer. It's Lenny and Squiggy. It's your big entrance. We're like, what are we doing?
So,
yay!
So that thing graduated itself
Into.
what are we doing? What are we doing? And then it lost all syllables, and now it's just two elk communicating.
And the weird thing is, now there's an answer. Jensen and I walk in the hall and go, Rob will say, we're making sandwiches. You know, he'll answer the what are we doing? Owen is having a little mixture. What are you guys doing? Okay, Bubba, what are we doing? One of my favorite what are we doing stories was during an episode of the show. It was very complex. I was obviously newer on the directing side, a veteran of the business, but newer on the directing side, and still cutting my teeth on stuff. And it was a scene where Brad Creaser was in a mood. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. He's a national treasure of several nations. But man, when Creaser gets in a mood...
He's our A-camera operator, for those who don't know.
You guys have probably... If anybody who listens to the podcast, we've interviewed Brad several times. He literally is a close personal friend of both of ours. Lord knows he's got to be like, you guys are thick as thieves. He's like the third lead actor on the show.
I spent several of my own birthdays in his dining room with his wife, like cooking me steak and him and I having scotch. And I was like, no place I'd rather be.
Yeah, great guy. Gets in a mood. Occasionally, man gets a little...
He does get a little cranky.
Yeah, long days. Especially green directors, maybe not making a decision or something. But Brad goes, Brad, we're doing a scene where Jensen has to fire a weapon. Obviously, we take that kind of stuff very seriously. So we're talking about what lens we're going to use, how far it's going to be. Jensen's not on set yet. We're waiting to call you into set. We go, well, let's audition the 40 millimeter lens, which means let's try it. We're not committed to it. We're going to try it. Brad puts on the 40, and while I'm not looking, has the whole camera team fire up the plexiglass.
Lexan.
Yeah.
So that's like the protective gear.
Which takes a minute. It takes a minute for them to get it on and get it set. So now Brad can be operating the camera. Jensen could fire a weapon in the vicinity of the camera, and Brad would be protected from any debris that would be coming off the false round. He does that, and I walk in, and it's not the right lens. We go in, and I go, Brad, I don't think it's the right lens. Well, I just did the whole camera. Meanwhile, the first AD is calling Jensen to set. He's like, Jensen's on his way. Don't call Jensen. We're not ready for Jensen. Don't call Jensen. We're not ready for Jensen. Like, well, you said try the lens. I said try the lens. Don't put the thing on that means we have to use the lens. That's not the lens. Oh, here comes Jensen. Everybody backs away. What are we doing? And Brad immediately goes, well, we were going to do this scene where you fire a weapon at me, and I had the Lexan ready to go, but now Rich wants to take the Lexan off, and I don't feel safe. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. There's a safe space. I don't care how many times you've been on this show. We're safe here. I'm Jensen goddamn Ackles, and I will not fire a weapon at Brad Creaser. That's unsafe. I won't do it. I didn't say that. I never said that. And Jensen, hi. Welcome to set.
I'll be in my trailer. Let me know when the thing's ready.
And we lost him. Damn it! And that's why I not only love what we done, but I also get a little bit of shit every time.
So I have to tell you, so I worked on a show, Big Sky, this past fall. Right? I'm not kidding.
There you go.
I walked on set. What are we doing? And nobody really understood what I was asking. And I just said it louder. Hey! What are we doing? And I wished so much that I could have just been like, "Dang!"
Well, that would have gotten an answer like,
Call the medic. Jensen's having an event.
Richard Spade,